Hi, I thought I'd reintroduce myself. My name is Alyona, I live in Latvia, and it's been more than 2 years that I've started trying to make art. And I was searching for what I wanted to do for a while, and I did some digital artworks, and then I switched to painting on canvas, and the transition happened really fast, and I wasn't really knowing what I'm doing, and I wasn't knowing what I'm doing, and I've started creating paintings to sell them pretty fast, and I sold some paintings, quite a few, and I was happy about it. And then I realized that I'm not sure why am I doing this anymore, and I felt like people pleasing was taking over, and I wasn't really doing what I loved, so I stopped quite recently, and I began just painting in sketchbooks, and I tried portraits, I tried different subjects and landscapes and so on, and now I'm switching to abstract because intuitive abstract art feels really natural to me, and I feel like I can push my limits in it, and I can see some exciting things that I'm finding each time I'm doing it, and it feels really, really comfortable in a way and also difficult. I like to challenge myself to make decisions as I'm going and try different things, and I'm really experimenting and immersing myself in this process right now, and I feel really scared to start doing it again on canvas. And right now I feel like I need a couple of more sketchbooks, maybe 10, and to really find my voice, to really find what I like and analyze what I'm doing and find a way of making art that feels really good. And I'm enjoying myself right now, and I'm not pushing myself to do it faster. I realize that I'm naturally driven to do things too quickly. That's why I'm probably a really clumsy person. I tend to hit myself and spill things and break glass and and so on. If you ask my husband, he would tell you what I've done. Like I've broken walls literally and windows. So I'm a very clumsy person. And if you would see my first car that I was driving, you would really scream, probably because it was so scratched. Yeah. Anyways, I'm trying to slow down in my life and in my art. I'm trying to take things really slow in a more meditative way and analyze what I like and really really value the time that I'm spending in the process and not so much the result. So I'm learning a lot, and I am going to share with you what I've been doing for past few days, my discoveries and what I'm liking and what I dislike in my sketchbook. I hope it will be inspiring for you. So this is my very honest showcase of my sketchbook. It's almost finished. I have a whole lot of pretty stuff in there that I showed in my previous videos, and you have seen most of it, I think. But I want to show you my recent pieces that I'm really excited about. Not this one, not this one. Okay, so I did this striped one. I'm not loving it as much. I just felt like doing stripes, and I began with the markers, and then there were crayons, and then there was paint, and then there were patterns, and I really like this vibe. I think it's really fun, but a little bit too busy and a little bit too simple, like it's just lines. That's not what I'm looking for in my art. Another one is this, which I really love. I've had this idea of making a very red painting in my head, I don't know, for a while. I'm thinking of taking it to the canvas at some point, but I really wanted to experiment with this limited and not so limited color palette. I mixed some of my colors and I've used inks in here and I've scratched into the surface, and I used a marker and I added these white lines contrasting it all, looking like a bridge. It somehow turned into this bridge with this fantasy red river by accident. And I also love these neon accents in here. I love everything about it. Like, I would hang it on my wall. What do you think? Leave me a comment if you like this very red vibe. And next one is completely different. I played with something similar in a different sketchbook where I used just pencils and markers. And here I started with some collage papers to bring in some interest and texture. And then I've used paint, and I also scratched into the paint. And I really like these wonderful effects and textures that I have here. I'm sorry for the flickering light, I forgot to turn it off. Yeah, and I love this blue in here, and I love how the light pale pistachio green is looking in here, and I really love this. I really love how busy and colorful it is, and yet it's so harmonious, and I love all the movement and the texture, and I feel like this is getting closer to somewhere where I want my art to be when I start painting on canvas. I really like this one. I think this is very interesting and kind of good looking. I don't know. It has this thing that I wanted to have. I don't even know how to explain it in words. It has all this difference and interest in here, and I even decided to continue this line that I have on this sheet of paper. It's a collage, and I'm continuing the line. I think it's a really cool idea. So yeah, I'm really inspired by this one. This one, I wanted to play with texture. I placed some paint in here, and while it was wet, let me show you what I've used. I've used this simple hair comb to scratch into the surface and create these beautiful marks. At first I wanted them to be just stripes, but then I decided, hey, I can even scratch over the stripes. I think I was using a white gesso, and I kind of like the effect that it made here and in here, and all this rich texture. Here I was just scratching with my brush, I think, in here. I really like the texture. I wanted to play with texture, and so I did. This is the simple way to scratch into the wet paint, so it uncovers the underlayer, you know, like these kids' toys where you have to scratch off to see the rainbowy underneath. I don't know if I'm making sense. And again, I can see myself adding these stripes. I think it's something like a signature move for me, because I always want to just scratch through with the stripy stripe with a line. I don't know. And these marks were made, I think, with just small paint bottle that I was just also kind of putting inside the wet paint. I'm really loving this one. And I love how I framed it in here. I don't know, I was feeling brave about this one. This one was really an experiment. At first I added some wax crayons and pastels in here, and then I layered it all with acrylic paint, which is transparent, and it sealed the crayons inside, so they're no longer smearing my fingers. And I really like this beautiful texture. It's like magic. And this purple that goes over here with these scratchy marks also. I used pastel knives in here, and then I even used a stencil. I tried to use different shapes. I used round shapes and oval shapes to build the interest. And here I'm adding crayon on top, so it's still smearing, but I don't care. I really love this experiment, and I think this is a very beautiful piece. Like, it would look like an amazing painting, I think. Very magical and textural. I love everything about it. And this is something I just began doing. I wanted to play with darks and lights, like dark going to light, and then these dots happened, also using white gesso here. And I really like the transparency. It's like glazing. This paint that I have, it's really transparent, and the effects that it makes, it's really amazing. So I'm thrilled to continue with this one. And I'm putting the papers under it so I don't cover the next page. So yeah, I was super happy and excited to share this all with you. I hope you got inspired to make art today. In the end of this video, I decided to show you some of my older works that are made on tiny pieces of paper and cardboard, just to share what else I can do and share my excitement about some of my most favorite artworks. And since I haven't recorded the process for most of my work recently, I just wanted to show you some more pretty things that I've got in my messy studio. I hope you